Hey guys, Josh from Delaware Tactical. Today we're going to talk about the P365 platform. As you can see here, there's a ton of different variations. We've got different grip modules, different optic options, different uppers. The benefit of this platform is that all of this is interchangeable, and we'll show you that here as we go through these options. So they do make a smaller 365, but we're kind of starting here with the 365X. So this is something that you still have a medium kind of full-size grip on. Then you'll see there's versions of this same grip with these other two pistols here that have the Wilson Combat variant of that grip. So basically the fire control group just comes out of this frame, goes right into one of these Wilson Combat frames. You swap over your mag release there, and everything else with the upper just bolts right to it. And I'll show you that here real quick. And we're just gonna push through this little pin. Pops right out. We're not going to lose that. So the cool thing with the 365 is that this is your serialized part. And you'll see a lot of gun stores now are actually selling just this fire control group. I want to say it's usually between $200 and $300 depending on when you're watching this video. But as you can see, so this group, we just pulled out of a 365X and we can put it right into this 365 macro handle. Just goes right in. That pin goes right back in. As you can see, we don't have a mag release on that, but then the upper just goes right on that, and boom, you have a 365 macro. Now the benefit there is that depending on how you're gonna carry this thing, you have a multitude of options, like we were just saying, all the way up to the 365 Legion with the aluminum lower. You can see here too, this is a good example of, this is a Sharp Brothers lower that's also aluminum, but it's a little bit smaller than the Legion, so it gets you comparatively a little more concealability. You can see there's not a grand difference there overall, but this thing with the small 365X upper, it's a little bit snappier, but it's very concealable. So when we get to the Wilson Combat lowers, one of the cool features they in particular have, and you'll see in here, there's slots for tungsten rods. So you can see there's some weighted rods that go in there to just add some weight and help with the recoil. It does make a little bit of a difference. So like in these two here with the Wilson Combat lowers, there are tungsten rods in the tan and not in the black one. I mean, noticeable difference in the weight of feeling them. With shooting, we're gonna test them side by side and see. Of course, we've got some different optics there, but if we compare weight, we've got our little scale here. So we'll take, so without the tungsten weights in there, we're at 519 grams. Compare that to with the tungsten weights, it's got a little bit of a different optic, or 570 grams there. So you figure about 50 grams on the difference for the added weight. If we compare that then to the Legion, this is a full aluminum lower frame. We're at, let's see, 631. Now this one is my personal carry pistol with the TLR7 that I run on there. This one was just at 700 grams, so it's by far the heaviest. If we then compare that, here, just tit for tat, we'll lay all these. This is gonna be what would be the 365X. We're at 475 grams there, so much lighter. Now the weight is something that does take its toll when you're carrying, but it's important to keep in mind that's going to help mitigate that recoil, particularly with the upper that doesn't have a compensator on it. So there's some pros and cons to that. With these compensators, you're going to see about a 30% reduction in recoil, but we have seen them have some issues with accuracy when we're out at about 25 yards. Now, most of you guys probably aren't going to be making shots at 25 yards with your carry pistol, but it's nice to know that you can really accurately with what you're going to be carrying and trusting your life to there. Heavier ammo does help with that. So for carry ammo, I'm carrying a 135 grain plus P Hornady round, but that's something that I also have to take into consideration with recoil because it's a much hotter round than your typical 115 or 124 grain ball ammo. So let's go back with weight in mind. This Sharp Brothers grip. So this is also an aluminum grip module. It's going to have a little bit more weight. So let's actually, comparing weight here, the Sharp Brothers lower with that same package, we're at 568, 569. So where was that coming from? From 475. So a good difference in weight there. This little thing is fun. We were shooting it with the X with the non-comped upper. it is very snappy compared to the ones with the comps on them. But the cool thing about it, like I said, all of this stuff's interchangeable. So we can run this, put the fire control group in, and then just put on one of our macro uppers or Spectre comp uppers that has the compensator. So there you go. As you can see, that comped upper fits right on that same lower. So this would give you ideally the best of both worlds. This handguard is a lot thicker, as you can see on the back strap there when we compare it to the Wilson Combat handle. So that's something to keep in mind there as well. But if you're looking for something that has the added weight like the Legion, but it's a little bit more concealable, this combination here, I mean, maybe you would want to get a black upper there instead of the tan. This would be a nice setup. Personally, I think the size difference is minimal enough when we come to the Legion that I'm still going to go ahead and carry the Legion there, but you'd be surprised just that little bit of difference on the back strap of the handle there does make a difference in concealability and how that weapon's going to print. So Jason, what are your thoughts? Do you have anything to add? You shoot a 365, you have the Spectre comp here. Is there any thoughts or comments you have on the platform and its advantages and disadvantages?
I like the gun. I have larger hands though, and I have found that it is typically not worth me carrying a smaller pistol when it comes to the sacrifices versus benefits of carrying just a larger, like Glock 19 size, kind of that mid-size gun. I just seem to perform a little bit better having a larger gun. Even though I do still carry it. Typically when it's like real hot, I'm wearing really light clothing, and I'm really worried about concealability. That's my go-to right there, but I personally just prefer a full-size handgun.
Yeah, and you can even see, even me with smaller hands on these Wilson Combat lowers, a lot of my hands kind of hanging off there. And it doesn't seem like it's too big a deal, even on like, here's the factory lower with for the X. But I get a much better purchase with either the macro lower or the Legion lower there.
And just for reference here, I'll show you. That's my hand on this thing. It's a little small if you got larger hands, but totally usable.
And again, back to the modularity of that, you can customize these things with any combination of upper or lower you see here on the table. And there's tons of other aftermarket options that we don't even have here, like the Sharps Brothers. There's Icarus Precision. There's, what is it, Shallow Tech has some nice total packages there that really turn this into like a full-size gun with a 4-inch barrel and things like that, still using your 365 fire control group. So tons of options out there. Just depends on what's going to fit your hand, what's going to fit your budget, and what you're going to be able to conceal comfortably and carry every day to defend yourself. So guys, that pretty much covers it. Again, this is Josh from Delaware Tactical. We'll see you in the next video.